Greetings, Living Hope family. I want to check in today and make sure that you have the details for the changes that we're making tomorrow involving the worship service and the live stream. Actually, tomorrow, before we begin our live stream worship service at 10:30, we're going to be having a children's Sunday school class. And we'll be doing this moving forward. But it's going to be beginning at 9:45 on Zoom. So we're going to get you a link tonight via email. You'll click on that link at 9:45 and it'll take you to the children's Sunday school class. Now, Cody's actually going to be teaching that class. He's going to be combining our two normal children's Sunday school classes together and teaching on the Ten Commandments in the weeks moving forward. So we want to invite you to be a part of that. We think it's going to be a blessed time for our kiddos. So again, 9:45, it's going to go to about 10:15. So it will be shorter than what we usually have for our children, but it's going to be right before we start our live stream worship service at 10:30. So we'll get that email out to you later tonight. Also, wanted to let you know one change for our live stream worship service is that we're going to be adding music this week. So whenever you push play on the live stream at 10:30, I'll give some announcements and do some scripture reading. And then Ryan is going to lead us in a few songs. And then after he's done, I'll pray. And at that point, we're going to ask you to get off of the live stream for 2 minutes and then come back on and push play again so that we can start the sermon. The reason why we want you to do that is because we're a little bit afraid of what's going to happen if we put music on our recording on YouTube, because YouTube might pull our content off because of licensing issues, and we don't want to have that headache. So we're going to ask you to bounce off and bounce back on for the sermon so we can record that and keep that on YouTube. We're going to have some instructions about that as well coming in the email that we'll send out this evening. So I hope that this addition makes for worship for you back at home, even though we can't be in the same chapel together. Okay, well, I also wanted to spend just a moment in the scriptures to give you some encouragement. Been thinking about the fact that we're all under the stay-at-home order. We're in our houses and we're not seeing each other. We're not out and about. We're not around our friends, acquaintances, and extended family members like we usually are. So with that might come a temptation to do some things that we wouldn't normally do. Maybe make some choices that are not holy. Choose to do things or not do things. Think things, say things that we wouldn't do around other people, those people that we're usually around more often. There might be a temptation to kind of hide our sin, thinking that we're in our homes and that gives us more liberty and freedom to pursue choices that the Lord isn't pleased with. And so I want to appeal to you. I want to exhort you. I want to exhort myself to at the same time that we not follow any temptation to make choices that do not glorify the Lord, choices that smear his good name. We represent him. We're his representatives. And so we need to make sure that even though there are not as many people around us watching us, that we know God is watching. And that should affect what we do and what we don't do, what we think and what we don't think, what we say and what we don't say. And so what it is we view on our computers or our phones, what it is that we say or don't say, how we treat the other people in our homes. We need to remember that we live before the face of God. He sees all. He knows us through and through, so much more than that we can even imagine. He knows us better than we know ourselves. And our lives are not meant to please other people. They're meant to please him. And so it doesn't matter if we're in our homes or we're out and about and we're around people more often. We need to strive to please the Lord, be pleasing to our master. So I want to read this to you from 1 Peter chapter 1, verses 14 and 15. You've heard this, no doubt, but it's a good reminder for us all. Peter writes, "As obedient children, do not be conformed to the passions of your former ignorance." So that's the put off, right? If we're talking about living the Christian life, we put off being conformed to the passions of our former ignorance, who we were before Christ. Not to be conformed to those passions. Here's the put on. "But as he who called you is holy, you also be holy in all your conduct." This is verse 16. "Since it is written, you shall be holy, for I am holy. Since God is holy, we ought to pursue holiness. As obedient children, it says, we are children of the Most High God. He is our Father, and He is a good Father. He is good through and through. As the psalmist says in Psalm 119, you are good and you do good. There is not one part of Him that isn't good. And He has not forsaken us. He's always done what is faithful to us. He has not given us His justice, but He gave it to His Son. He poured out His judgment on His own Son so that we would have His everlasting love and grace. So as we're in our homes and other people aren't watching, God is. And since He is our loving, compassionate Father, let us choose to please Him, do what makes Him smile, do what we know glorifies Him, because He's the one that matters most. We can please the whole world, but if we don't please God, we've missed it, haven't we? So my prayer is for myself, my family, and for you as well, that as we aren't standing in front of each other, we're not around people as much, that we would remember our good God is watching. And as He watches, we need to know that our lives are to be about honoring Him as obedient children. And not just some of our conduct, but all our conduct. And we have the capacity to obey this command to be holy because He's made us new. And we have motivation to obey it because we're told in the same chapter in 1 Peter that we have a living hope, right? We've been born again to a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. And we have also been given an inheritance that is imperishable, undefiled, and unfading, kept in heaven for you. Our inheritance, because we're children of God, is waiting for us and it's protected. And we'll get there, we know, because the same chapter says that He's guarding us, and He's guarding us until we get there through our faith. That's motivation for us to be obedient children. And there's so much more than that, we know. So take some time to meditate on these things. Pray that they'll be true for you. Pray that they'll be true for all of us at Living Hope Bible Church. And let's come together tomorrow, ready to worship and to hear from the Lord so we may respond in a way that honors Him from the inside out.